What's good, fam? It's Mr. Kelly with Good to the Hood, talking about anything and everything that impacts the culture. And today's topic is, what is a sellout? What is a sellout? We hear this terminology used quite a bit, specifically when it pertains to individuals that are celebrities, right? And recently I had a homeboy of mine, Mark, who actually was in one of my videos last year. So shout out to Mark. And I went ahead, after our dialogue, I was like, I should actually talk about that. So he called me because recently he's seen Ice-T. And for those of you that know, Ice-T is an OG rapper from back in the days, back in the 80s actually, like late 80s. Had a number of albums. I actually was a big Ice-T fan. I had him on vinyl, right? He had a album called Drama. He had one called Iceberg. He had he's most probably famously known for a couple of songs here. So one, 6 in the Morning, right? He's known for that song. Then later on, he created a group called Body Count, right? And they had a song that had like a lot of controversy. And it was called Cop Killer. And it was actually, that group was more of a rock group, not really a hip hop group. So anyway, he's an OG from the West Coast, right? And a lot of you younger cats may know him more so from CSI, because he's been an actor portraying a cop or detective or whatever for a number of years. In full disclosure, I actually never got into or really watched CSI, but I do know that the brother does have his acting career. He was also in a movie, New Jack City. So I say all that to say that he's an OG, and he was the one that even had a song called OG, Original Gangsta. And Ice-T, his claim to fame, right, not only as a rapper, but before a rapper, he was a hustler, and he was a pimp, literally, right? And he's very entrenched in the LA gang culture back in the day. He had some beef with Soulja Boy and all this, right? But anyway, my boy called me to tell me that he felt some type of way because Ice-T was on a Cherrios box. He's on a Cherrios box, and I was like, yeah, he's doing a lot of things. And of course, recently he's been also on some commercials, like Tide commercials. And so it's just kind of weird that the original gangster, who's known for a song called Cop Killer, is now on the Cherrios box, right? So I can understand some of the, like, this dude sold out. He's a sellout because he's very big against the establishment and all this kind of thing. And so from my vantage point in regards to this, I'm like, look, so first of all, let me say this. A sellout is usually considered to be somebody, specifically in music or in entertainment, but it could be anybody, somebody that sells out their values or who they are at the core or their integrity for something that goes literally against what they believed in, or it contradicts their movement or whatever, and typically for financial gain, okay? So that's a sellout, right? My argument to this is, I don't believe Ice-T to be a sellout. Because, first of all, I feel like we all evolve and change as we grow or get older, or we should, because obviously we know some people that, I'm sure all of us know some people that's not the case. But he started out a certain way. So my argument is this. First off, he is a self-proclaimed hustler. He's a pimp, he's a gangster, whatever. So somebody could say, well, look, he's just chasing the bag. So he secured the bag. I mean, is him being in corporate America doing commercials for Cherrios, is that, you know what I mean? Is that him being a sellout? I don't think so. But the biggest thing why I don't feel that Ice-T's a sellout is because there's a number of years, or decades actually, decades that span from when he dropped those types of albums and had those sentiments, right? And I think we could all agree that how we thought and how we approached life in our teenage years and in our 20s is a lot different than when we are in our 40s or 50s. And Ice-T right now, for those of you that may not know, Ice-T is 64. He's 64, right? So when he came into the game, like when he did like the soundtrack for the movie Colors and when he was in New Jack City and all that kind of thing, right? That was literally 35 years ago. So I would think that any of us would be a little bit different than we were, right? Now he would be a sellout, I guess, if he was still preaching that gangster mentality and that gangster rhetoric now, and then you see him on a Cherrios box, then it might be right a little different. But a lot of artists come under scrutiny. One of the big ones that I remember, and it's not within the culture, but it's within music, is actually there's a rock band called Metallica, and they were really like, we're not sellouts, we're on the grind, we're bottom basement type thing, and they really had a problem with Napster. Now, I know I'm talking to the older generation now, because I know a lot of younger people are like, Napster, what's Napster? Napster was a company that came out and you could download music for free on the internet, and that was like a big deal. Like now that's commonplace, like yeah, everybody gets that. I mean, here on YouTube you can listen to music, you know, but back in the day that was a big deal. And so Metallica had a lot to say about that, and it's like, you know, they're talking about the establishment, you're robbing money out of artists' pockets, and there's this whole deal, we'll never go commercial, we are who we are, blah, blah, blah. Then years later, right, Metallica was doing like Pepsi commercials or something along those lines, right? They're like, they became the very mainstream type of people that they spoke so derogatory against in the past. And I think that's, look, I don't think that that's bad to me. I just, if you were talking a certain way and then 12 months later, right, it's like completely contradictory. Or even then, I think it's, I guess maybe if it's simultaneous, if you're talking anti-establishment and then you are actively a part of corporate America and really champion their moves and really exploiting or taking advantage of people, and then literally on the weekend you're dropping music or going to rallies or something talking against that, that would be a sellout, more so to me, I feel. You know what I mean? When I was growing up, a lot of people were like, they would think somebody was a sellout if they were dating outside of the race. So, you know, you see a bunch of brothers and he's like, yeah, pro-black this, he's listening to Public Enemy and he's got the African medallion on and all this kind of thing, and then all of a sudden his girl comes up and she's white. You know what I mean? Like Dave Chappelle has some comedy skits on that. Chris Rock has some comedy skits on that, right? Is that a sellout? You know what I mean? I don't think so. I could see that maybe more so, I guess, depending on who the individual is. As a whole, look, I don't buy into the whole sellout thing as a whole now that I'm older. When I was younger, I was kind of into that. Like, oh, you a sellout, whatever, right? That was a big Public Enemy influence on me, and BDP, KRS-One, you know, those types of guys. But I think you got to be careful with some of that when you're saying who's a sellout and that they are a sellout or what is a sellout, that kind of thing. First of all, going back to the music and going back to these music artists and actors and actresses, is no artists that I know of really, if they had it their way, is going to stay underground in any genre of music, whether it's hip hop, R&B, rock, whatever. You know, you're playing in these bars, you're playing in these clubs, you're playing these hole in the wall joints or whatever. The goal is to, right, is to secure the bag, is to take care of your families, is to get paid for your craft. It would maybe be more sellout. Okay, so I'll give you this. It would be more of a sellout, I guess, to me, if your lyrics change. So if you were super hardcore and all this bravado and whatever, and then all of a sudden you're now like singing, you know, some kumbaya melodies or whatever, maybe. I mean, you know, but it's the evolution of an individual. So if you're getting the money, by all means, if you ain't hurting nobody or breaking the law, I mean, yeah, do the commercial. You know what I mean? I guess maybe be selective on who you're gonna do the commercials with. I don't think a Cherrios ad goes against the grain of being a gangster. I mean, gangsters got to eat breakfast. You know what I mean? So basically, you know, you're getting your money, doing your thing. I don't think that you're a sellout. I wouldn't put you in that category personally, right? Just be true to yourself. But again, you're learning, because at the same token, like Jay-Z's a prime example. Jay-Z started out in his music, you know, obviously he was pitching rocks and all of this and Big Pimpin' and all these types of things, right? But then on his 444 album, and even some of the things that he's done most recently with like a Pusha T, they came out with a song. They're talking about, he's talking about grown man stuff, right? He's like, he don't put rims on the car anymore. He's investing in artwork. He's investing in property. He gives more honor to God for where he's at in his life. Right, he's a family man. He's married now. He's got kids. So as you grow, you can't be living this bang bang boogie lifestyle forever. So if you are blessed enough to go from 20 to 40 to 50 and beyond, and you get some opportunities, to get some money and secure the future for your family and some generational wealth and all these types of good things, as well as you learn more, right? Kudos to you. But that's just my 2 cents on the whole deal. So maybe y'all differ in opinion with me. Maybe there's some things I didn't touch on or some aspects of that. So absolutely, like we always do, folks, let's chat that up in the comments. That's really been gaining. So I'd like to thank all the new subscribers. I really like to thank all the people that really engage a lot of those comments. And as you see, I mean, I respond probably a good 85% of the time. You know what I mean? I mean, unless you're just saying some just real off-the-wall crazy nonsense. But either way, look, this is Mr. Kelly with Good to the Hood. Until next time, peace.